So where's the edge?
Who's to say that there is an edge, and why assume there is one? Is it because when we are introduced to the idea of a flat Earth, it's always depicted like this? In the currently most accepted model, Antarctica is not a continent, but a 360-degree landmass made up of ice that holds the oceans within. When we look at a Gleason's map from 1892, that states at the top that it's scientifically and practically correct, as is. We see this Antarctic ice rim. The Gleason's map is basically an azimuthal equidistant projection, which can be traced back to the year 1000. The AE map is also an official map of the United States Geological Survey, the USGS, and the official logo for the United Nations. The oldest known globe in the world is from 1492. This is something you need to keep in mind because many people argue that the azimuthal equidistant map is just a flattened out version of the globe, when in fact the globe is just a rounded version of this true world flat map. If the flat map came first and it has the ability to convert into a globe without any problems whatsoever, then that should tell you a little bit about how this globe deception was achieved. Now, back to if there is an edge or not. There is no proof that there is an edge past the Antarctic ice wall, but it is speculated by many that perhaps the plane that we live on is either extremely expansive or it's possibly endless. In these two scenarios, it would be logically assumed that more land is being hidden from the general public. In a 1954 interview with Admiral Richard E. Byrd, an American naval officer who specialized in exploration, he had this to say.
But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being. And that's beyond the pole on the other side of the South Pole from Middle America. And I think it's quite astonishing that there should be an area as big as that unexplored.
Implying that there is more land past Antarctica. If that uninhabited land was on a globe, it would be in the Indian Ocean. A recent discovery of an old Buddhist map in a newspaper from 1907 seems to support the idea of a vast plain with much more land.
Where does the sun go if the Earth is flat?
Well, the sun neither rises nor sets, but travels in a clockwise circuit from east to west, and only appears to rise and set due to perspective. The sun disappears at the vanishing point of human perspective on the horizon, where the ground meets the sky. And since the sun is not 93 million miles away, I repeat, not 93 million miles away, but much closer and smaller, the light emanating from the sun only illuminates about half of the flat plane at once as it makes its daily journey.
What's underneath the flat Earth?
This is obviously an unanswerable question since the assumed edge has never been known to be reached. But many people suppose that whether the Earth is round or flat, that either way, it still must be floating in the middle of outer space. But the idea of outer space goes out the window with the round Earth theory. Many religious texts support an immovable Earth that has its foundations on which it is laid and its pillars by which it is supported. We simply don't know, but we do know that the Earth is obviously fixed in place, as we can tell by our everyday experience of non-movement. What we see in the skies above are illuminated objects making circles around us just as it appears. Whatever this place may be, it's the center of all we survey. Some say that the Earth is the floor of the universe. In the ancient Hebrew conception of the universe, we are surrounded by the waters above and the waters below, known as the Great Deep. The deepest hole ever drilled into the Earth was a total of about 7.5 miles. The very core of the Earth is nothing more than wild speculation, if not another malicious lie. So what's under the Earth? That remains a mystery to us all. But another thing that you can research is what's inside the Earth. Multi-billion-dollar deep underground military bases known as DUMBs, DUMBs, right?
What about ships and boats disappearing over the horizon?
This is also due to human perspective. They don't go over the horizon, they go into the horizon, moving beyond the limit of our vision and past the vanishing point. But the ships and boats are easily brought back into view with a pair of binoculars, a telescope, and any camera with a good zoom lens. A great question to ask yourself is why can't we see noticeable curvature from 120,000 feet up? But many people claim that the supposed curvature can be seen from the ground by watching boats. It doesn't make sense.
And what about all the pictures of the Earth?
They are all clearly computer-generated images. They claim this picture from Apollo 17 in 1972 is real, and they also claim that the 2015 Epic Earth picture is real. But NASA employee Robert Simon gave us a glimpse of how they do it when he shared his experience of creating the Blue Marble 2.0 in 2002. He is now called Mr. Blue Marble. He was interviewed and on record stating, "The last time anyone took a photograph from above low Earth orbit that showed an entire hemisphere, one side of the globe, was in 1972 during Apollo 17. NASA's Earth Observing System, EOS, satellites were designed to give a checkup of Earth's health. By 2002, we finally had enough data to make a snapshot of the entire Earth, so we did."
In 2002, Blue Marble 2.0, NASA's Rob Simon made this. Simon's job is
It's primarily taking data and making pictures out of it.
that's what this is, from several different instruments translated into a picture.
So we actually had to take clouds out.
They stashed the clouds for later, went onto the ocean. That came from an instrument that measures phytoplankton in the sea.
Where it was low, I colored it dark blue because they're low mostly in mid-oceans. And then where it's a little bit higher, it was like a little bit brighter green.
Then add the clouds back in.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit.
So some of those are painted on.
It is Photoshop, but it's has to be.
Then,
There was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
and then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just take Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space, but I've looked at these images over and over again, trying to sort of get the essence of it. It is Photoshop, but it's has to be. It is Photoshop, but it's has to be. It is Photoshop, but it's has to be. It is Photoshop, but it's has to be.
Why are all the other planets round then?
When you compare amateur footage done with professional grade cameras and compare it to NASA's official images of planets and stars, it's clear that NASA images are all computer generated, no different than the photos of Earth. What have become known as planets are round lights that seem to be set over the flat Earth. The so-called planets and stars are not what we have been told they are, and comparing luminous objects that you see in the sky to the Earth under your feet is very ineffective for actually proving the supposed rotundity of the Earth. Since there are no actual photographs of the Earth and motion has never been experienced or proven, it would seem more logical for one to assume that we are on a flat, motionless plane and everything we see in the heavens revolves around us.
What about satellites and GPS?
As crazy as it may sound, satellites are a hoax. Have you ever wondered why there are never any damaged or fallen satellites? And why there are no satellite malfunctions due to constant heating and cooling? It's weird they don't melt in the thermosphere that's over 2,000 degrees. I find myself looking at the moon and wondering why we never see satellites pass by the moon. Did you know there are thousands of miles of fiber optic cables under the seabed that supplies 90% of the Earth's communication, internet, phones, etc.? And GPS works off the cell phone towers. It's called triangulation. Haven't you seen those really tall towers and wondered what they are? Satellite TV is just enhanced radio using ground-based towers. It's all ground-based, just like the old TV antenna. Science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke proposed the idea of geostationary satellites in 1945 in a magazine called Wireless World. And 20 years later, in 1965, they claimed to have successfully launched the first commercial geostationary communication satellite. Today, there are said to be thousands, but the odd thing is that trying to prove it only leaves you fruitless.
Is outer space even real?
Yes and no. What you see in the sky, as far as stars and wandering stars, also known as planets, are there. How could we deny them? We don't know what they actually are, but they are there. Now, what we are told about outer space and what it is not true at all. Everything we believe about so-called outer space is due mostly to Hollywood movies and other media, including children's cartoons. Of course, NASA propaganda is the biggest culprit. As we have already gone over, there are no pictures of Earth, and even images of all the other so-called planets are computer generated. NASA has gone on record numerous times stating that humans can't get past low Earth orbit.
NASA's next spacecraft, already being built and tested across America, will do those things and more.
This is the spacecraft that's going to take humans to explore the solar system. It's the next big step for NASA in exploration.
Called the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, this next-generation spacecraft will enable America to explore beyond low Earth orbit.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. The plan that NASA has is to build a rocket called SLS, which is a heavy lift rocket. It's something that is much bigger than what we have today, and that will be able to launch the Orion capsule with humans on board, as well as landers or other components to destinations beyond Earth orbit. Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
And unlike the previous program, we are setting a course with specific and achievable milestones. Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
Low Earth orbit is supposedly between 99 and 1,200 miles away. The funny thing is that they say the moon is over 200,000 miles away. How did we make it so far in the 1960s and 70s if we can't do it today? Also, the International Space Station, just like everything else brought to us by NASA, is a fake Freemasonic hoax, completely fabricated and done with special effects, models, pools, zero-G planes, and various other camera tricks.
How is circumnavigation possible on a flat Earth?
Very easily. You can travel east and west directions to ultimately end up right back where you started. The face of the Earth looks similar to that of a clock. In fact, clocks were most likely designed after the true appearance of our world. If you follow a compass east for long enough, you'll make a full circuit. Same thing if you travel. Clocks were most likely designed after the true.
As you can see, like I was saying on Ming's panel, the sun and the moon rotates like a clock. Like a clock. As a matter of fact, the earth is the perfect clock. It tells the perfect time. It doesn't need time zones. Man created time zones. The center is north. Always north. Research Polaris. Research Polaris. All right, let's continue.
Appearance of our world. If you follow a compass east for long enough, you'll make a full circuit. Same thing if you travel west long enough. As we've already gone over, the flat Earth map that was around before globes were easily converts to a globe. So everything you believe you are doing on a globe is actually taking place on a flat Earth.
How come the moon is upside down in the southern hemisphere?
This This is another very simple explanation. When somebody is in the northern part of the Earth, or on the northern part of the Earth, they see the moon from this angle. When somebody is on the southern part of the Earth, the moon looks like this. They're looking at it from this angle. They see it from the opposite angle, and that's all it is. Imagine you take a picture of the moon in the center of your living room, right? Depending on where you are in the room, the moon will be seen differently. When pondering this question, keep in mind that the face of the moon never changes. On a spherical Earth, we'd expect to see other sides, but we never have.
What about the seasons?
When pondering this question, keep in mind that the face of the moon never changes. On a spherical Earth, we'd expect to see other sides.
Why do we only see the same side of the moon? Our whole life, we only see one side of the moon. But yet we're spinning, according to NASA. We are spinning. According to NASA, the sun and the moon orbits, but yet we only see this one side of the moon every day, every night. The sun and the moon are both out at the same time every day. You could look outside right now and do your own experiment. If you see the sun, or excuse me, if you see the moon in the daytime, and on the opposite end, on the other side of each other, you see the sun, how are we spinning? It doesn't make common sense at all. See, you can't have a sun and a moon out at the same time and be spinning at the same time. It does not make sense, folks. That's why I teach y'all to use your common sense. Use your common sense. Let's continue.
But we never have.
What about the seasons?
The sun is close and small, and it circles around and above the flat Earth in a spiral pattern on the Tropic of Cancer in the northern summer months, and then down in the Tropic of Capricorn in the northern winter months. So when the sun is further away from the North Pole, right, the center of the flat Earth, it's winter in the north and summer in the south. Since the sun is smaller than we are told and closer, it makes much more sense that we experience seasons in the first place. If the sun was 93 million miles away and had a radius of over 400,000 miles, we would hardly experience temperature fluctuation as we do.
What about gravity?
Buoyancy and density. Let me guess. Buoyancy and density, right?
Gravity is necessary in order for a spinning ball Earth to work. People readily believe that you can't fall off of a spinning ball that's darting through outer space at speeds that you can't even comprehend. Yet they will deny how much easier it is to stay on a flat surface that doesn't move. Gravity is a scapegoat for all that cannot be explained, and it has never been proven. The reason why things fall or float is because of density and buoyancy. When something is heavy,
Oh, he said it. Density and buoyancy. Gravity is fake, folks. This is science, right? But I thought science doesn't exist. It can't coexist with God's word. I thought science couldn't exist with God's word, but yet it's showing science right here, right in front of your face. Gravity is not real. Gravity is fake. Research buoyancy and density, folks. Let's continue.
than air, it falls. If it's lighter than air, it floats. Very straightforward. Your phone is denser than the air, therefore it falls when you drop it. Everything works because of density. No need to factor in imaginary components. Quote,
The law of gravity is still a theory. How can a theory be a fact? How can a theory be a fact, folks? It doesn't make sense. That's not common sense. A theory is not a fact. Otherwise, it would be called a fact, not a theory. Right? Let's continue.
of gravitation is said by the advocates of the Newtonian system of astronomy to be the greatest discovery of science and the foundation of the whole of modern astronomy. If, therefore, it can be shown that gravitation is a pure assumption and an imagination of the mind only, that it has no existence outside of the brains of its expounders and advocates, the whole of the hypotheses of this modern so-called science fall to the ground as flat as the surface of the ocean. And this most exact of all sciences, this wonderful feat of the intellect, becomes at once the most ridiculous superstition and the most gigantic imposture to which ignorance and credulity could ever be exposed. Thomas Winship, Zetetic Cosmogony.
What about the Coriolis effect?
They say that the Coriolis effect is a result of the Earth spinning and is responsible for the deflection of an object moving above the Earth, rightward in the northern hemisphere and leftward in the southern hemisphere. The problem is that things like hurricanes and water in the sink aren't always predictable and have been known to spin both ways in either hemisphere. Also, another contradiction that proves the Coriolis effect false is the fact that no flying machine above the Earth has to account for it. If a bullet that travels 1,700 miles per hour has to...
All military man. John Illuminati claims to be in the military, claims to be in the Marines. All you military men, I want y'all to research a rail gun. RAILGUN. Railgun. I want people also to research railgun. RAILGUN. Look up railgun, do your research on it, and then come back to me and explain how curvature exists with a railgun. I will wait. Let's continue.
account for the effect, then an airplane traveling at 550 miles per hour would definitely have to account for the effect. When you look for the answer, you'll find that we are told that since the atmosphere moves with the spin of the Earth, planes aren't affected. So why would bullets be? Especially when they go much faster than common airplanes.
Exactly. Common sense, folks. Let's continue.
Why can't I see infinitely far?
Perception. Vanishing point.
This is for the people that wonder why they can't see certain things that they believe they should be able to see if the Earth was flat.
Didn't I just say that? Oh my gosh. Vanishing point, folks. That's why you can't see the sun when it leaves. That's all I was trying to explain to old boy up there on Main's panel. But, I kept getting. Anyways, so this is the vanishing point, folks. Perspective, perception. Let's continue.
Been asked on numerous occasions, why can't I see Mount Everest from anywhere on Earth? I've also been asked, why can't I see Spain from the east coast of America? Well, besides dirt, dust, dew, rain, fog, smog, smoke, clouds, mist, haze, snow, etc., your vision is limited by the vanishing vanishing point of your perception. Check your weather app on your phone and notice the visibility in your area.
Is the flat earth a religious thing?
No, it shouldn't be. No. But it has religious aspects
Yes
to it.
and no.
Yeah.
I say this because I myself am not religious. I'd rather not have faith in something, but know the facts to the best of my ability. And the facts are that the curvature and motion of the earth have never been proven. The Bible, without any doubt whatsoever, supports the earth that's fixed in place. The book of
In the book of Genesis, it breaks down the stationary earth. Read the book of Genesis. All God believers, all creator believers, read Genesis. Stationary earth is in Genesis, folks. God didn't say anything about space, planets, galaxies, nebulas. Read the book of Genesis and tell me if you find space, galaxies, and nebulas in the Bible, in the book of Genesis. I will wait. Let's continue.
Enoch, which is biblically endorsed and most likely belongs in the Bible, describes the flat stationary enclosed earth in great detail. Many religions and civilizations preceding Judaism and Christianity support a flat and stationary earth.
Oh, what? Like I was saying on the panel with my dumb self. Did I say that? Wow. Other past civilizations believed in a closed, motionless earth system. It does not have to be based on the Bible. Past civilizations believed in a closed earth system. We are not smarter than the past civilization. The past civilization were smarter than us. We are just catching up, folks. We are reteaching ourselves, folks. Let's continue.
Such as the Babylonians, the Egyptians,
Oh,
the Mayans, the
oh,
Norse, the Hindus,
oh my God.
etc.
Oh my gosh.
This fantastic spinning globe earth is very new to the people.
Oh my gosh. What did he just say?
And most likely
Let's hear that again, folks.
Describes the flat stationary enclosed earth in great detail. Many religions and civilizations preceding Judaism and Christianity support a flat stationary earth, such as the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Norse, the Hindus,
What?
etc.
What?
This
Etc.
fantastic spinning globe earth.
Etc. Excuse me, y'all. Hold on. Excuse me, y'all. Pardon me. All right, my bad. What did he say? Oh, let's hear that again.
And most likely belongs in the Bible, describes the flat stationary enclosed earth in great detail. Many religions and civilizations preceding Judaism and
Many religions and civilizations. Let's go. Let's continue.
Christianity support a flat and stationary earth, such as the Babylonians,
Oh,
the Egyptians,
oh,
the Mayans,
oh, oh. The Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Mayans. They believed in a stationary earth too. They believed in a enclosed earth system too. Oh my gosh. But no, we're smarter than our past civilization. We're smarter than the Mayans, right? We're smarter than the Egyptians, right? Oh, Ra, Ak, huh? Interesting. Very interesting. Let's hear that one more time, folks, and let's continue.
Exposed Earth in great detail. Many religions and civilizations preceding Judaism and Christianity support a flat and stationary Earth, such as the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Mayans, the Norse, the Hindus, etc. This fantastic spinning globe Earth is very new to the people of the world, yet most of us carry on as if the theory is unquestionable, and we've been conditioned to laugh when the flat Earth is brought up.
Oh, really? We be laughed at? People laugh at us, clown us, joke about us when we bring up stationary Earth? No, that never happened. He's lying. Let's hear that again. He lying, man. People don't do that. What?
Fantastic spinning globe Earth is very new to the people of the world, yet most of us carry on as if the theory is unquestionable, and we've been conditioned to laugh when the flat Earth is brought up.
No.
Whether you are religious or not, you can see the flat Earth for yourself.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Mic drop. And I will leave that there, and I will continue with part 2 some other time. I gotta go paint. I gotta go handle some business. All right. But salute to everybody. Rose Gold, salute to you, man. Salute to you. You crazy, man. You got a wrench. King Troll, you also got a wrench. You know what I mean? So thanks for everybody who stopped by. Thanks for the likes. And I'll see y'all in part 2. And yeah. Peace out. The Earth is stationary.